Gaur Premanande Haribo. Just check in to see if anybody noticed that there was a time that you had to make yourself aware that you were chanting. In other words, was there any one mantra, then you came back and you said, oh, wait a minute, where was I? Does anybody have any feedback from your chanting? And it really helps to hear what others are thinking, because part of the japa circle is to figure out that everyone's working hard to stay focused.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for showing us the way how to get back to chanting japa properly. So I was reflecting that I had to bring my mind back every second, and then it came to my mind when you were saying that be conscious that you are chanting. So I was trying to understand that sentence itself. What does it mean by being conscious of chanting? And then I understood it a little bit, because I thought that during the day when I cook bhoga as well, I'm never focused. So my mind is wandering anyways all the time. So I could very, very deeply reflect that, oh my God, I'm not focusing on anything. Just because I tried to focus on this sentence that you said, that be conscious that you are chanting. So it really helped me to reflect even deeper on the wider level of all my activities during the day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was also thinking that this japa fade doesn't necessarily even mean it means over a long period of time the japa can degrade, but also even in one session, even in one round, by degrees the mind can start going away, and I forget that I'm chanting, and then I become bored, because the mind has two modes. It goes, well, there's several, as Patanjali mentions, but two categories that I've noticed that the mind goes into when it's not actually communing with the holy name is either anxiety or boredom. And in boredom, then the mind says, get up and go look at the internet or do something else. And anxiety means that, I get fidgety and I stand up, not that you can't stand up, but I'm just saying the mind gets out of the zone, and we're trying to get in that place where we're actually hearing the holy name and feeling energized, enlivened in service. And we're praying hard when we're chanting. Thank you. That was nice, because you related about how you can notice this phenomena in any of the activities that you do. You sort of get on automatic, and your mind is on that level of chatter. You're not really conscious of what you're doing. Let's take a couple more reflections. Yes. Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you for allowing us to be more aware. The thing that you said that I really tuned into was the verse from Rupa Goswami, how the holy name really permeates our senses. So I was allowing that experience, and what I experienced is that by the senses to be permeated by the holy name and allow Krishna to control, let the control to the holy name, it gradually expanded in my consciousness to go to the finer, more subtle aspects of my being, like the mind and intelligence. And the feeling that it created was very liberated, like just that relief that now the holy name is in control. And it just went into broader and broader aspects in my life. Now it's not just while I'm sitting here, now while I go out of here, Krishna will carry everything and arrange.
Nicely said. Yeah, a beautiful realization. There's a story about two policemen in Delhi, and they're walking along, and one of them's saying, it's ironic that we're going around here trying to ward off thieves, but our God actually is known as a thief. He's always stealing. And the other one said, well, people put up high walls and chains, and we do that around our hearts also. So it's lucky that Krishna is such an expert thief. He can penetrate even locked doors, high walls. But there's a way in which if we just leave the door open, or leave it unlocked and say, Krishna, although I'm not willing to give up my anartas, I'll chant and I'll leave the door open if you'll come in there and forcibly take them from me, if you dare to make such a prayer. Then this is part of the forced meditations, like Krishna just forced me to give him up. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Vaiśeṣika, thank you so much for organising these Japa circles. Actually, I realise it's a way of actually bringing the mind back every 15 minutes at least. And I had a little reflection about the Sambandha Gyan you mentioned, because knowing what inattentiveness means actually helps us get back to chanting properly. And you can have many thoughts, so let's say if we have thoughts of Home Depot and going to Vaisesika, that doesn't take us back to the holy name. But knowing that there is inattentiveness does bring us back, because it helps you remember to chant the name. And I remember somebody telling me that if you can't remember, then remember to chant.
Nice, Haribol. Nice reflection. Very helpful. Is there one more? I have time for one more. Yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for helping us into our chanting. And I have one question. Like we try to, during chanting, not to think of our service and things which will happen later in the day. But there is also this instruction of Prabhupada to one of his disciples, that disciple was saying that he was doing some management service, and he's saying, I'm getting such headaches and I cannot at all focus on my chanting because I'm always thinking of what I have to do in this management. And then Prabhupada says, but this is good, because you are like, the point was that he was praying to Krishna and like this, but then like sometimes pujaris say you meditate on the deity when you are chanting, but then I asked, can we meditate on distributing books or any other service that we are doing later in the day during chanting, and they told me, no, you have to focus on your name. So it seems to be contradictory, like some services can be meditated on during the chanting and some not.
It's more an issue of meditating on the fact that we're instruments. Whatever service we're doing, we're instrumental. Krishna's allowing us to do the service, and he's empowering us to do whatever it is we're doing. So if we're chanting with the mood of asking Krishna to use us in his service as an instrument, whatever service it may be, we can chant with that mood, and that's what the mantra is. Oh my Lord, oh energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. So if we start with that mood, that please engage me in this service or that service, and we're praying hard by chanting, just please do that for me. If I'm thinking of all the details, later I've got to pick up some milk and then I've got to go over here, it may be a distraction. But if I'm praying in a general way, that please empower me to do my service, because I'm your servant and I'm just an instrument, then it can be much more effective. And that's one of the ways in which we become empowered, is just to ask the holy name to empower us in his service. Hare Krishna. So now I'll just read Prabhupada's instruction again. I have one for each day, but I'll repeat this one so we can remember it and then chant for the next 15 minutes. Yoga system is approved, but nobody can follow the rules and regulations strictly. Neither there is suitable place for executing it, and everyone is full of anxiety. So how they can concentrate? So best thing is to chant Hare Krishna, which is forced meditation. And to be attentive, the word attentive has the smaller word ten, which comes from Latin, which means to stretch towards something. So we have to stretch toward the holy name with our body, mind, and spirit. And one more point. With any practice, we're either improving or getting worse. There's no staying the same. So attention means stretching towards something. So we can do that. Try to stretch towards the holy name. That's attention, being attentive. This will be the last check-in for the japa circle. Chanting is the most nourishing of all activities that we can do every day, but there's always the chance that we can gradually grow weak and stop chanting. When we visited Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's Samadhi Mandir and Bhajan Kutir, we found these instructions in his teachings. He said, complete your vow of chanting every day, even if your life is in peril. Gave that simple instruction. Be steadfast in completing the vow every day. We'll take a few reflections from anybody. Yes? Okay. Hare Krishna.
This is from Alexander and Valentina. Yeah, they said, felt like baby, we should try one more time, 16. And then, if there's always so many mistakes, we do. So he's saying that maybe they should start over again and do 16 rounds one more time.
Yeah, well, you always have the next day to try again. Every day is a new day. Jai, I think Maharaj had his hand up.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We're sitting together here. I'm in your association. How important is collective consciousness in regards to the individual's consciousness? How does it affect our own focus, etc.? Does that make sense?
I think so, if I'm interpreting what you said. But I think it goes back to the topic yesterday in the 5 angas of bhakti and sadhu sangha. If we didn't have these temples where there is congregations of devotees, and Prabhupada said himself, if you don't have devotee association, you won't be able to maintain. And it seems as if it's vital to have collective consciousness. But is that what you meant?
Yeah, but a little bit, perhaps a little bit more internal. In a sense, we can be sitting here together if we're, all trying to focus on that one, whatever purpose. Does it help each and every one of us to achieve that?
Yes.
So if my mind is wandering onto sport or mundane thoughts, does it affect others around me? Is it, does it make sense to you?
Yes, it makes sense to me. It's palpable. I've been to some temples where everybody's in the same room, but nobody's together. And I had this experience recently. We were in a large temple, and devotees were sitting in the temple room, but they were by themselves. Their body language was indicating, I'm by myself, I'm doing this alone. And I noticed some people were looking at their phones, some people were falling asleep, and there was just a sense of, I'm alone here amongst all these others. And then a group of us started a circle. We got together in a tight circle, and we chanted, and then it was an upliftment of the whole atmosphere. It was in that circle, everyone felt, wow, we're chanting together. And the consciousness came to the fore that this is important. And then I could see that the few others around the temple room also noticed that the energy had been lifted. So I think it's really important.
This is not preaching the holy name, isn't this the meaning, in a sense? Bringing people to, the purpose, to focus on the name.
Yeah, and if that becomes the main point in a temple, to make japa great again together, then, as they say, a chain is as strong as its weakest link. And if we have a community in which we're trying to help everyone be a strong link, and that can't be done without chanting japa, then that brings the whole community together. Nice points, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for organizing these Japa sessions. So during the first 15 minutes, I was basically trying to focus on this forced concentration, trying to bring my mind back, and it was going like an unruly child. It just kept going and it kept bringing back. It even went to London once. I had to bring it back. But the second instruction, where he said, the mood should be that, Krishna, I am yours. Please make me an instrument. So I had tried with the, prayerful mode. So I felt like I had a better rounds during the next 15 minutes. So I hope you can please clarify whether this is not my mind creating some illusion that,
No, it's the meaning of the mantra. Oh my Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. You'll notice in the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada mentions how one of the perfections in devotional service is to fervently pray for some particular kind of service. So that's another one of the techniques, is to set your sankalpa, your purpose, before you start chanting. And one of the prayers that I make is, Dear Lord, if you so desire, please give me the best association and the ability to take advantage of it. And when I'm chanting and I go back to that, I'm thinking, praying, please can I have association with advanced devotees and the intelligence to be able to take advantage of it. Then it is a very intense experience. And it does perfectly align with the meaning of the holy name, of chanting the holy name, to ask for service.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
There's one over on the other side.
Hare Krishna. So I have a question, and I usually use, like, during my japa, reading of shlokas of Bhagavad Gita or watching pictures of Krishna, and I found that was helping me. But in the same time, I don't know if I should just focus on the sound. So this is my question.
Satchidananda Swami, in one of his writings about the holy name, confirmed that from some shastra or an acharya, I can't remember which, who had recommended the same, if that helps you. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mood also in discussing chanting japa was to be inventive. Whatever ways you can find to stimulate your interest in chanting so you can keep going is nice. And as an example, he talks about, okay, go in a closet, put a shutter over your head and chant. He also talks about find somebody who's really chanting good japa and go sit with that person and chant. And he gives several other examples. But reading Shastra in between is definitely one of the programs that you can do. Also, I've found that if you look at the holy name itself, it's so beautiful. If you have it printed and you look at it when you're chanting and you follow along, then that can also help. Some people take time to write out the holy name, and all the different ways that you can come closer to the holy name, because holy name is Krishna. Rupa Goswami says, Vacham Vachakam Ityudeti Bhavato Dvanta Vibhavo. The holy name and Krishna are the same, and then he says, but actually they're different, because the holy name's even more merciful than Krishna. The holy name will go everywhere with you, pursue you, chase you down. You come to the material world saying, hey, wait a minute, come back. So we can make the holy name our main priority and the chanting of it. And if we can actually enter deeply within japa and indeed make japa great again every day, then we'll make tangible spiritual advancement. And that's necessary. Otherwise, we lose altitude and we forget how important it is to be a devotee. And we can even just put it as a secondary thing. It's happened to thousands of people. So japa is the place to really, don't be embarrassed to make japa great again. Just, you don't have to be a great devotee. Don't be a great devotee. Be a good devotee, but do make japa great again. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody. We'll take it up again tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Vaiśeṣika, Kṛṣṇa, Kṛpasnideva, Satanam Bhavani Vaiśeṣika.